All right, so we're going to convert to degrees using our calculator. So our conversion is, our unit converter is 180 degrees is equal to pi radians. So we will multiply by that conversion, and since we're going from radians to degrees, we will multiply by 180 degrees over pi. Okay, now you can place pi in your calculator if you want to, but because I know pi is going to divide by pi and be 1, I'm just going to go ahead and type 17 times 180 and divide by 8. Okay, now it came up 765 over 2. We'll just go ahead and do Control Enter. It converts it to decimal, which I get 382.5, which will round off to 383 degrees. All right, so 2.9 radians. So 2.9 times 180 degrees divided by pi radians. Okay, so this time, since I don't have the pi symbol, you go ahead and just type the whole thing into the calculator. So 2.9 times 180 and divide by pi. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do Control Enter so that I get the decimal form, and that is 166.1. So that's going to remain 166 degrees. All right, let's see what else we have going on. All right, use a calculator to evaluate round answers to 3 decimal places. All right, so this is just type it in your calculator. The only key here is make sure that when you're doing a degree problem, your calculator's in degrees, and when you're doing a radian problem, your calculator's in radians. Okay, so since the first 6 there are in degrees, I'm going to go ahead and set up my calculator for degrees. So doc, where'd it go? 7 and 2, and then I'm in degrees. So I'm going to make that my default so it stays that way. Okay, and then I just do my trig functions. Trig sine 23.1 degrees. Okay, and that is 0.392. Oop. 0.392. Okay, cosine of 133.7, trig, cosine 133.7, enter, and that would be negative 0.691. Okay, continuing on, tangent of negative 223.5 degrees, and that is negative 0.9489, so that's actually going to be negative 0.949. Cosecant, okay, so trig, cosecant, 129.2 degrees, which will be 1.290. Okay, secant of negative 47.4. Okay, trig, secant, negative 47.4. And we get 1.477. Okay, cotangent 302.2. Trig. Cotangent 302 and 2/10. Oops, okay. You actually have to put in the right numbers. Let's try that again. Trig, cotangent 302.2. Okay, so we get negative 0.6297, so that'll round up to 10. So that'll be negative 0.630. Okay, now we'll have to change our calculator to radians. So doc 7, 2, change degrees to, whoops, radian, not radian. Okay, make it our default. Okay. Cosine of negative pi over 5. So trig cosine negative pi divided by 5. And we get 0.809. Secant of 9 pi over 8. Trig secant 9 pi divided by 8. And we get negative 1.082. Okay, cotangent of 3 pi over 7. Trig cotangent 3 pi divided by 7. Point 228. Sine negative 2 pi divided by 9. And we get negative 0.643. All right. So use a calculator to approximate the values of theta that satisfy the given equations for 0 to 360, which is degrees. Okay, so I've got to go back, reset my calculator for degrees. Okay. So sine of theta equals negative 0.19. Okay, so first we isolate the variable. We know that, and then we're going to look for our reference angle will be the inverse sine of 0.19. Okay, and where our theta will then, since we're looking at sine being negative, we know that that's going to happen in two places. Right, so it's going to happen in the third and the fourth quadrant for sine. Since we're in degrees, we're going to go add 180 degrees, and we're going to subtract from 360 degrees. Okay, so theta would be 180 minus sine inverse of 0.19, and theta will also be 360 minus inverse sine of 0.19. Okay, so one more time, 180 180 degrees minus sine inverse of 0.19. And we get 169.0, so we're going to say that's 169 degrees. And then we do 360 minus inverse sine of 0.19. And we get 349 degrees. Okay, cotangent theta equals 1.19. All right, so our alpha will be cotangent inverse of 1.19. So cotangent being positive happens in two quadrants. In the first, which we'll get here, so our theta will actually equal alpha this time. Okay, and then it also happens that cotangent is positive in the third quadrant. Okay, so theta will also be 180 plus inverse cotangent of 1.19. Okay, so 180 minus inverse cotangent let's try that again. 180 plus inverse cotangent of 1.19. Okay, we get 220 degrees. Okay, and then simply inverse cotangent of 1.19. And we get basically 40 degrees. Okay.